Hi, guys. I just wanted to jump on I and make this video for you. I don't know if you noticed, but I named it Start Your Day with Miss A Evening Edition because I'm trying to tweak my YouTube channel and get things moving on this. So even though I'm live and I'm doing a live stream, I am not announcing it. So I don't expect anybody to pop in. But I am trying to work on this and get some content made that I can work with, if you understand. You all know that it's a work in progress, and I'm trying to bring my best to you. So, I did want to go very quickly through the evening routine because I have been getting some emails and some questions about this whole thing, and I need to make it a little bit more clear because I want this to be your own. And that's why when in the very beginning I suggested any notebook. I personally I have so many for different projects that I'm working on, but like I'll give you an example. Spiral bound, I don't mind when it's a project that I'm working on and I might tear something out, rip it out, or retype it. And the reason is because these don't I have no way to indicate when it's on a shelf without pulling it out what it was for. Okay. And this is just my method. I have to surround myself with all these things to prepare myself and set myself up for success. So that's why I'm sharing them with you guys so that it can be if it's something that can help you, great, and we can go through this journey together. So this is only for projects that I might put some of the information elsewhere. So this is like a lot of notes from my books. I will get these that are have dividers in them so that I can have more than one subject. I have taken a lot of notes in this particular one, and it is all about um, building exceptional journeys as the micro school that it's probably going to be, um, but more importantly, you know, becoming a place where we can all come to learn. So this kind of book is for my notes for books and projects. Um, and so I also use like composition books as well, only because they're cheap and at school time. And because I really value the handwriting process. I am in love with words and the written word. So I enjoy just journaling and the art of journaling and doing doodling and things alongside to help me remember things. That's part of my experience and it's part of the type of learner that I am. I'm very visual, but I also like need to feel the process. That's why sometimes typing doesn't feel as good, even though I can type so much quicker and I'm a lot more efficient. I save all my typing for when I'm in a flow for writing. But what I do is I will find if it's a journal that I'm going to keep, like my big daily planner. This is a product put out. It's the High Performance Planner. It's put out by Brendan Burchard. This is not what works for everyone. It's very big. It's probably not meant to go outside of your house, and they're set up to be used quarterly. So you get a new one every 3 months. Now, in all honesty, I did buy a year's worth, but like I gave one to my daughter, and I realized that I'm not going to use that much when I'm not so busy that I have so much to schedule. But with school, with just doing this challenge, with working on my website, things like that, I'm noticing that I'm starting to fill the pages each day. And some of my questions do come from this, but this is part of his program that he teaches, and some of what we use, what I'm using is from High Performance, um, from his book, High Performance. I can't even think of the name of it. High Performance Habits. Okay. And then also Atomic Habits. And, I've talked to you guys about some of the different programs and things that I've studied and I've used, and it's what works for me. That's why I say make it personal and tweak it. Um, I don't I'm not endorsing any one product or any one journal. I have used many. Like I said, I've always been a journaler. I still keep an old-fashioned calendar like this one. And again, because I like to handwrite things out, but I do also have a digital calendar. I have it in my phone, in my computer, in my iPad, and they are all linked together. So, yes, I do use technology, obviously, but I do need that kinesthetic thing to touch and hold, and like I said, I love the written word so much. It's why I surround myself with books, the actual books. I do listen to a lot of audiobooks, but when I love an audiobook, I will buy the real book because I enjoy reading it too. I'm in a book club, and so I am getting a new book every month, but that also requires me to give something away because I don't want to just fill my life with clutter. And if it was a good enough book, I want to bless someone else with it because you can just pick them up digitally anywhere. So I have some books that I have multiple copies of because I look at them as gifts in the future. Or when I hear somebody's going through something, I can recommend um, a book or something. Um, so yeah. So just as far as the 10 to win your day, that that again, that's been over a lifetime of using we're dealing with on a global level, but that God is in control and that his will be done in the office and we will all grow accordingly. Because a lot of our situations and how we face things have to do with our attitude. And I always try to look at the situation and say, oh, what am I supposed to be learning here? It's very uncomfortable. But I've come to know that it's in the uncomfortable times, it's in the pain that we grow the most. And so I remind you to embrace that. Okay, so back to the 10 to win. I have it down for me, and in my mind, it's the science that works for me. And that's why I share it with you with such passion because it's taken me a lifetime to figure it out. And I've done so many studies and so many programs. You guys know that I'm a Bible college graduate. It doesn't mean anything. It was a time in my life I learned I did get a lot closer with God. I will tell you one thing, and that is in getting educated to teach in public school or teach in school and teach children. I learned so much more in Bible college and getting a degree in Christian counseling than I ever did in preparing me for educating children in the state of California. That being said, um, it's been my mission to make a difference in education, and Kern County is my home. It's where I became educated. Not that I haven't gone to school outside of Kern County, I have, but I love this community. It took me a lot of years to love it. I had to move away for 9 years to come back and to love it, but I raised my children here. My grandchildren, two of them are here. Three of them have been in the school system here and have benefited from some things, but they've also had difficulty with some things. And so, as of right now, I'm here to be supportive. I do still advocate and am an activist for children. I'm not working as an advocate at this time, but I do stay in touch with Wright, and I just did a webinar just yesterday, as a matter of fact, with Pete Wright, which is a lawyer, and he fights for special ed, for children with special ed. He's written many books. I have many of them. And so if you have questions about what's happening with your kiddos in school, forgive me, I have a major pain in my shoulder today. Um, I'm here to answer those questions and we can help each other. And I'm happy to, network with you and maybe even point you to some resources if you need help with an IEP, if you need help with compensatory education, things like that. But I'm getting away. So that's where we're heading. Exceptional Journeys will be a place for children and adults to come and get educated. It is growing into a safe place for people to come to. Um, using the life focus, which is on my website, and it's exceptionaljourneys.org. And if you go to it right now, you only see a page or two because it is under construction. But I am committed to working on it every day, and I'm learning all about it. So, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's fun. So yeah, I want to go back over some of these things with a little more detail because I'm sharing what works for me. And I'm not timed, I'm not in a rush because it's not my morning show. And even though I'm streaming live, I will add it to my videos here. It'll be available on my YouTube channel for you to go back if you need the 10 to win explained in more detail. And what I do is I just make a list, and you can certainly I will type one up and make it available probably in our Facebook group. Um, also Exceptional Journeys off of my Ava Diane Kirby Facebook if you want to go over there and look for us. Um, I would like you to subscribe and share this with people. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, around 6 a.m. It's my goal to be here. I usually try to be early, but this morning you guys were in the dark with me and going down the stairs. Um, Obviously, YouTube needs coloring, and it's meant to do, I think, more in front of an camera or a computer rather than a phone or something like that. And so I go live stream on my YouTube, and I will connect to Facebook and also Instagram. Eventually, we will get all three of them going. In the meantime, we are about to close out the third day of our Sunset 60 challenge. And so, again, very quickly, I'm going to go through the 10 to win. And number one is journaling. And I have morning and evening journaling because that's what I do. And so for that one it's just a check off that I did it, that I throughout my day came up with 10 different areas of gratitude, things that I'm grateful for. And I've explained before, it could be something small, and or even work on some habits that I want to develop, um, but or things that I've gotten little victories over, or just little things. What little things in your world that you are grateful for? Not the big things, not the big, your home, your spouse. You can write those things every day. I'm talking about the little things that just spark a little bit of joy or bring you a little bit of gratitude. Um, so that's my number one. And again, it's up to you. I do morning and evening because it's a discipline for me. And when I stay connected to it, it works better. I can do my morning routine, get my things done like I'm supposed to. And same thing in the evening. I can end my day with a positive and encouraging myself for the next morning, already visualized getting up on time without fighting myself and pushing the snooze button 37 times because I've already visualized my next day. So that's why I do it. Okay. So and that kind of goes into my number two as well. My number two is the actual 10 things that I'm grateful for. And like I said, I'll do 5 in the morning and 5 at night. 5 in the morning is little things that just made my morning go easier. That at night were things that I appreciated throughout the day or I'm grateful for. When I did it with my kids, I started off with just 3 each. And in those, I made it like something that you're grateful for about your family, something that you're grateful for about your friends, and then something that you're grateful for in the world. And that could be, something godly, or it could be that they were grateful. One of the first things that they said when they were little was because when we moved to California, we did not we didn't watch TV before we moved to Tennessee, rather. We didn't watch TV. We gave up TV as a family. Um, and we would watch videos that we knew what the content was, but so Sesame Street, things like that, because they were little, and we felt like we didn't need it either. And I can just talk to you personally. I grew up, I think, with an unhealthy relationship to television. And so I'm glad I got that under control then because I could really veg out during this pandemic of every day could turn into just binge watching Netflix or whatever. And yeah, we have them all Disney, that's a big deal for me. So at that time it was good for me. It got excessive, I think. But at the time I was married to a perfectionist and we were kind of all in or all out. So when we got to Tennessee, we did sort of catch up on what happened in 4 years that we were out of, because during that time was the OJ Simpson trials. And growing up as a child of attorneys, I couldn't believe I didn't know what was happening, and I was already a news junkie. And so part of my daily routine when we were in Hawaii, Ripley was little, and so I would take everybody and drop them off because driving there is crazy if any of you've ever lived there. Um, and then I would stop at our local 7-Eleven and just read the headlines. And I got to know the lady at the 7-Eleven, and she would say hi to Ripley. And in those days, I was highly addicted to Diet Coke. And so I would stop in and get my giant refillable, you know, ultimate gulp, not just a big gulp, big handle of Diet Coke, and sit there and talk about what was happening. And she would catch me up. So that was my thing because there was no internet. There was no way to get caught up on everything. And would we have given it up for 4 years when this is the way we connect with people? Probably not. So, but we would take retreats as a family and just disconnect from technology, even when my kids were teenagers, just for like a weekend, do a family trip and say no phones. And in those days, no MySpace, going to the little internet cafe in the hotel or whatever. Um, but we knew the importance of bonding person to person. Whereas now we have to get used to connecting like this. And it's been new for me, but at the same time, it's caused me to grow and see things how they should be. Okay. So that's a little bit of the gratitude part. Um, and, maybe getting up with kids in the morning is, or like getting up earlier with them is just not a reality for you. Um, and that you're better off with your quiet time being at night once everybody's in bed. It's up to you. These different programs that say um, you're not a morning person, or even if you're not a morning person, fight off and make yourself a morning person. That does work for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. So what works for you. What's a challenge. About things that you need to change. How to show up as your strongest, as your bravest, as your most courageous for you. So make it a 10 to win, but a 10 to win for you. And so these are just, suggestions and categories. And like I said, I've gotten it down to what works for me. Um, and yeah, so, you know, um, I just, this is what works for me. I wrote down some different things, um, of why I chose to do it like this. Like, so maybe as 2020 is ending, you've been thinking about some New Year's resolutions or some ways that you're going to impact 2021 for change. I say, let's get ready now. We have now less than 60 days before the end of this year as the sun is setting on 2020, and all the craziness and all the negativity and all the just the violence, the dividedness, the racism, the divided country. I've never seen it like this so bad, at least in my lifetime or where I've been aware that we are so divided. Um, and the equality part, it's just been so much so that we as individuals maybe can't do anything big, but we can do something small in our own hearts and in our own time and with our own businesses and our own families, and maybe we can be a blessing. And so thinking about that, like, that's why one of my things is number 3 is move your body every day for at least 30 minutes. That is just a minimum. That's just, you know, that's kind of a get up, get moving, move your body, change your mind, change your attitude, because it does. If you plug in positivity, whether it's music, whether it's loud screamo, whatever gets you moving. And I don't mean anything in a negative way, because I honestly, listening to the negative stuff doesn't help. It just it might further your attitude, even if it pumps you up. I I can say don't do it long term. Like we were talking in the past about how sometimes people are motivated negatively. And what I mean by that is, you know, coaches, calling them babies and sissies and come on girls and let's get moving. That does motivate some people. That's just not me. But what is positive, what helps you grow, and what makes you more frustrated or filled with more anxiety. So we want to get those things out. Okay. Number 4 is hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And just a minimum, a good rule of thumb is if you are wanting to release weight, that the minimum amount of water you drink a day is half of your weight in ounces or in liters. Um, Half of your stones, or however. We're so behind in the US by being on, what do they call it, the imperial system. That says a lot about the United States. So in ounces. So if you're 200 pounds and you want to release some weight, make sure you get 100 ounces of water in a day. If you change nothing and that's all you do, you will lose weight. If you're still, okay, let me take that back. If you're trying to get that much water in, you're going to feel full more often. And if you can drink, we've heard in the past it used to be 8 to 10 glasses of water a day of 8 ounces or more. Well, that's not how we do now. We have something giant like this. Mine has the sis, drink the stupid water. Just already set your mind that you have to do it. It's really hard for me to get my ounces in the wintertime. I try to drink 3 of these a day, which these are 33 and a half ounces. I don't always get it in, but I do. And you guys know I drink a lot of coffee. But I don't count the coffees. They don't count. If it makes me go to the bathroom 3 times an hour, then that's what I have to do. Because whereas I knew Diet Coke wasn't good for me, coffee is like one of the few vices I have left. And I just, as my husband says, coffee is evidence of God's love for us. So that's what I'm sticking to. I used to once a time say that about beer, and I don't say that anymore because all beer did was make me fat. Even though I drank light beer, diet beer makes you fat. So anyway, okay. So number 4, hydrate. And like I said, for some of you, you're going to have to build up to it. It's not easy to just go from I have to have sugary, sweet something to drink, or I can't handle it, or my water has to be flavored. You can't get 100 ounces of LaCroix or 100 ounces of some other kind of sparkling water to get it all in. That's a lot. So, get your filtered water. Again, if you guys are watching anything about what's really in our water, go get you some Fiji's. Oh, there's Leon. Say hi to everyone. This is Leon Jude. You're jumping in. Unicorn. Okay, thank you.
kiss him.
Okay. You want to kiss them? Okay. I know it's strange, but it used to pop little things and I make it kiss the grandkids. There you go. I know. Okay, go on. I'm on live. Thank you. Anyway, so okay, so that brings me to number 5, which is do something kind for someone else every day. Now, it doesn't have to be that you go and, send gift baskets to people that you don't really like or something like that. It's something to do outside of yourself, and maybe it should be your spouse or your partner, maybe it should be one of your children. I'm saying a little something above and beyond. And maybe for you that's praying for someone. Maybe it's giving someone the benefit of the doubt. That might be the kind thing someone needs, or maybe an encouraging word rather than a frustration, or you know it might be something kind for someone else and for you if you set up a boundary that will help your friends succeed while you keep them where they need to be. Again, that has to be personal. It can also be setting aside some of your time to really pray and intercede for that person. Maybe find out some more needs. Right now, people are posting like crazy that they need prayer, and so many are just like, well, all I can do is pray. No, praying is a lot. When you say, I'm going to pray for you, that's huge, because you're asking the Holy Spirit to bring that comfort to whatever person, and you're standing in the gap for them. Prayer is huge when you take it seriously, and not just, oh, I'll pray for you as something nice to say. Yeah, I'll just let you know, if I'm telling you I'm praying for you, I am bringing your name before the Lord. And if it's a situation that you don't want to talk about, I will lift you up, because God knows. And I I see him moving all around me, and I know it's real. And I've told you before, he gives me dreams for other people. Um, I've always told all my students and all my kids that I'm one of God's favorites, but so are you, because he literally gave his life for us. So, okay, do something kind for someone else helps you to think about other people. Um, just how can I be a blessing? And one of the examples I said is, don't wait until December to, like, because of the Christmas spirit and what that does. We want to strive for that to be who we are always. So, like, when you're prayed up and you're looking for a way to be kind, and don't wait till December to pay for the car behind you at Starbucks. If that's part of your routine and you can, afford to be a blessing, just do it. It's the little, the random acts of kindness where you don't necessarily get the credit, but you made somebody's day. It could be so small. It could be, oh gosh, I love your dress. I didn't mean, be sincere, of course, but if I see something that someone's done a little extra, I try to point it out, because what does it hurt me to brighten their day? It doesn't. It makes me feel good too. So, okay. Then 6, 7, and 8 challenge are, and usually what I'll do there is I will have a project, a goal, or a habit I want to develop on the other side of a habit I want to release. Okay. So it's either a goal to release something and pick something else in place of it. So for all my projects, my goals, and my habits, it's that I'm doing some kind of trade, if that makes sense. Um, I'll try to give you a visual on it. So this is kind of an embarrassing habit, but since we're trying to all eat better and make better choices, one of my bad habits is that I take snacks to bed with me. And I know you guys are probably like, what? But literally on my bedside table, because of this fear of not being able to sleep or waking up in the middle of the night and feeling like I want something, I don't know why. It's a horrible habit, and I tried to give it up last year, but it slowly creeped back in. And as we speak, I have Halloween candy in my bedside table. That's not good. Once I go to bed, there should be, and I've brushed my teeth. I'm in bed for the night. So that's something I'm trying to give up before the end of the year. well, what can I put that? What can I reach for instead? So I've always had water in bed, but of course, when you're drinking water like I have been, and I drink it at night too, that means I'm going to be up once or twice in the middle of the night. So that's usually when to get up to get to the bathroom, all of it is snack. And what does that do? It keeps me awake longer because now digestion is happening. Horrible habit and a surefire way to put weight back on. So I want to release that habit. Um, and so what I'm trying to do is, because I do get up so early, is along with that not taking anything to bed with me is the water. And when I get up, I remind myself I don't need anything to eat. And I'm going to replace it with, if I feel that urge or that trigger for that old bad habit, that I'm going to reach for something else. And right now it's a book. I'm going to see how that works. I don't know. I'm going to try. Um, I have found that putting yoga in there when I start to feel stressed, breathing and yoga has helped me release the stress. But it's taken me a long time to figure it out. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. If I can save you some time in this process, let me help you. But again, you have to do what works for you. Okay. So think about those, and I know that I didn't give you guys a whole lot of time before we hit the last 60 with both feet on the ground running. Um, but the idea behind this is it's just to give us a little oomph into the next year and to just be ready when 2021 hits. And there was no way for us to know to be ready for the kind of year that we've had. But all the preparation that I did do has allowed me to have very few dark days. And for someone that has dealt with in the past suicidal ideation, suicidal tendencies, overeating, over drinking, numbing out, all those old behaviors that I've had in the past, to not do that through any of this pandemic is just a huge victory for me. And it has gotten dark a few times. It has gotten to where I'm just crying and I'm having the hardest time and I don't know what God is saying. But I can look at my behavior and I can go through it with this lens, um, of this time of day, and look at it through my Holy Spirit lens and say, okay, this is how I used to handle it, and this is how I can handle it now. I'm aware of the triggers now because I've been educating myself on it for so long, of trying to figure out why it works for some people and not for me. Well, their formula works for them and they teach it and it's successful. It's the people that figure out how to make it personal for them to make it successful, because not every program is for everyone. We're individuals. That's why I don't think public school is working. That's why I think there's systemic problems there that we're not going to fix with more control, and why I just want to be a part of the solution. Okay, individuals, you're an individual and you're uniquely and wonderfully made to figure out what works for you. So that's my 6, 7, and 8. And my number 9 is, and this is why at least this is the one thing that I get to in the morning with all my morning journaling, is my message to myself. It doesn't have to be your number 9. It could be your number 1. What is today's message to myself? What am I going to try to live my life out like? Um, just the example here is, let's go, you got this. My message to myself today was give others the grace that I need. Or I think that was yesterday's. I'm not sure. When it comes to my book, done beats perfect. You guys, done beats perfect. It can always go back and be perfected. Get the work done. Get the water done. Get the 30 minutes done. It may not have been perfect, but it was 30 minutes you didn't spend with your feet up watching Netflix, right? So give yourself the pat on the back. Not a huge reward, because we don't reward ourselves for doing what we're supposed to be doing. We don't reward ourselves for the bare minimums, right? Okay. but we can give ourselves a little good job. You did it. Okay. And then number 10 is what one thing, what one would make today a personal blessing, and how am I going to visualize that to happen? And so I take it back. Those are the two that I try to always do in the morning, and make that part of my morning journaling. And then at the end of the night, I come back and I rate myself. And Brendan has a way to rate himself in here. I go over the number one thing that I ask myself at night is, did you cultivate joy? Cultivate? Yeah, cultivate. The Bible talks about how God does give us a measure of it, but in all our getting, to get understanding and to choose joy. And we so often mix happiness and joy, they're different. Cultivating joy is going into this world, what we're living with, showing up and figuring out a way to get to joy in that situation. That this political situation brings me no joy, but praying for people in power brings me joy. I did what I could do. It brought me joy. I cultivated a little bit of joy by writing down people's names and and speaking God's promises over them and thanking him for it, and cultivating that path, preparing that garden, getting that, whatever it is, the sunshine, the words of encouragement, the all the things that we need to make our cultivation, our harvest within ourselves, one of joy. So that's the one question I ask myself before I lay my head down at night is, did I cultivate joy? Um, how was my clarity? How was my productivity? How was my energy level? How about my influence? Who did I influence? Was I a good influence over the children in my life? Was I a good influence over the people I work with, over the people I care for? That did I show up with courage? And did I feel necessary? Did I make myself necessary in my journey? So that's what I do, and I hope that explains it a little bit better. I didn't want this to be a long time, but again, subscribe to my channel. Definitely leave your comments and let me know. Share, share, share. And again, we're a work in progress, and I just enjoy you guys starting your day with Miss A Evening Edition. So I just want you to listen when you can, and definitely, give me your feedback. I want to hear from you. If it's helping, great. If it's not, let me know what I can do. Let's build a group of us. I'm me, and I do have a small community, but let's make it bigger. Let's make this a safe place to be. All right. I love you all. Have a great evening. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night. Bye.